into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday evening. We'll get to all of our top stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's get a check of our forecast. Meteorologist John Birchfield. John, it's looking pretty dark out there. Do we have some storms in our future?
Yeah, Michael, there is going to be some rain and thunderstorm activity early tonight, and the biggest risk, not so much severe weather, but the heavy torrential rain. Scattered showers will be tapering off on Sunday and gradually turning less humid late Sunday and into Monday. The biggest impact has been localized flooding. It's been mainly west of I-75, areas like Williams, Defiance, and Fulton County. Seeing that soaking rainfall, there is some lightning and thunder that'll put a damper on those activities with heavy and torrential rain west of Defiance. Back towards northern Indiana, I'm watching this stripe of rain that goes back towards South Bend, and this is the area that is going to have the greatest risk for some localized flooding concern. I want to show you how much rain is already falling in northern Indiana. Some folks north of Fort Wayne have already seen over 4 inches of rainfall. Same for the South Bend metro, and there is a flash flood warning for LaPorte County, and some localized flash flooding could impact northwest Ohio this evening, with rain entering the metro around 7 to 8 p.m. I have your full 10-day forecast coming up in just a couple minutes. Michael.
All right, John, sounds like we need our umbrellas. 2 years after being laid off, hundreds of employees from a local trucking company are still finding ways to reconnect and support each other. Tonight, they held a picnic gathering at Walbridge Park to reconnect. Dominique O'Neill joins us in studio with more tonight. Dominique, tell us more about this company and how these people are holding up today.
Well, Michael, back in 2023, hundreds of employees and Teamsters lost their jobs at Roadway Express. A local trucking company was bought out. It forced many of them to find jobs in other industries in other states, essentially forced to start over. Now, one of the former employees has brought people together to give them a chance to reconnect. Michael Huggins, a former Roadway Express employee, has organized the second annual Roadway Express 251 picnic, a gathering aimed at helping former workers and their families heal and stay connected after widespread job losses in 2023. Roadway Express, once a major trucking employer in Northwest Ohio, shuttered their operations after parent company Yellow Corporation closed for good in 2023. The closure forced many employees to leave the area or start over after decades-long careers in the industry.
Impacted a whole lot of families, husbands and wives is not going to work no more where they used to. 23, 15, 30-year jobs has just been lost. Have to start all over. Roadway Express and Yellow Picnic, where we can get together and just have fun with our families.
Coming up tonight at 11, we hear from some other former Roadway Express workers who give us an update on how they're doing since the 2023 layoffs that impacted hundreds of people and how they made adjustments in their life. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks, Dom. UHA hosted a family-friendly health fair to give people free access to health care today. Taking place at Riverside Elementary School, the health fair gave people free access to health providers and help from right here in the Toledo area, offering services like wellness checks, vision tests, and even haircuts. With many lacking easy access to health care, the fair serves as a one-stop shop for those looking for healthy living.
When they hear what is being offered here, I see like a reaction that like, wow, this is that accessible. So that's kind of the reaction that I've been seeing. And then, having all these other opportunities and resources besides the medical stuff, it's just had a positive reaction from the community.
The fair ended at 2 p.m. You can catch the next one next summer. Deputies from the Wood County Sheriff's Office surprised people today with Kroger gift cards as part of their annual Christmas in July event. The event is part of a partnership between the Wood County Sheriff's Office, Kroger, and J.E. Dunn, giving out the gift cards just to brighten people's day and foster community spirit. It's a heartwarming initiative that lets people enjoy a summer shopping treat at their neighborhood Kroger store.
So often they see us on the worst day of their life. Usually someone's not happy when we show up, whether it's a domestic or a fight or it could be whatever call we go on. There may be someone there that's not happy that we are there. So this is an opportunity where hopefully everybody's happy when we show up and give them gift cards.
Christmas in July is all a part of the Sheriff's Office mission to give back to the community they proudly serve. Coming up, cleanup crews are in Central Texas to help repair damages from the devastating flood. We'll get an insight into the long process.
And grab the umbrella this evening. There is some steady rain rolling in from the west. I'm going to break down the impacts this rain will cause and also the rest of your weekend forecast. That's next.
Hi there. On the next Leading Edge, the cost of not building a jail. Lucas County commissioners calling no joy on more than a decade of prepping and posturing for a new jail facility. Pete Gerken joins us. Would you say here today that the county commissioners have exhausted all possibilities as far as bringing in money to buy or pay for a new jail?
Yes, and
there's nothing left.
We've done all that. We're still going to be $5 million short per year at best.
The renewed effort to bring us back and move us forward at the same time. We'll talk about the effort to pump up entertainment and business in downtown Toledo. We're going to hear from Cheryl Hardy.
Our goal was to take 2,000 people and bring them downtown every single Friday night and have them pump $35 per person into our downtown economy.
Was that sitting at the table saying that's probably a good barometer?
We're saying that's success. For a first-year event, that is success.
You've got new numbers.
And we've got new numbers. We're hitting the 3,500 to 4,500 number per week.
And we'll talk with the man who is coloring our world, Dean Davis. Sunday morning at 8:30, anytime on our YouTube page and at WTOL 11+.
And weather-wise, downpours and thunderstorms will impact those evening plans. Scattered storms tapering off after about 9 p.m. with a very warm and muggy feel tonight. Those low temperatures holding steady around 70 degrees. Now, the severe weather risk has diminished greatly, but there is still going to be some soaking rain. Thus far this evening, that has mainly been west of I-75 towards Fulton County, Williams, Defiance, and Henry counties, and down into Putnam and Hancock counties as well. There could be some localized flooding with some of these heaviest cells, especially back towards Wauseon and Napoleon, where you see those oranges, and into portions of Defiance County where there is lightning and thunder. There is going to be a little bit of an enhancement of those heavy rain downpours. Back towards northern Indiana, some flooding is already occurring. This stripe of rain from Defiance County back towards South Bend in Lake Michigan has already produced over 4 inches of rainfall in spots. In LaPorte County, flash flood warnings are in effect. North of Fort Wayne, 4 to 5 inch rainfall totals, and same for south of South Bend. Across northern Ohio, we have already seen 3 inches plus of rain to the west of Farmer, north of Hicksville, where there is the heaviest rainfall occurring just across the state line. So the hour-by-hour forecast brings those downpours along the I-75 corridor after 7 p.m. By about 8, we start to see that rain slide off to the east, and then by 9 o'clock, rain is going to be exiting into eastern Ohio, and we'll say goodbye to the rain overnight. It is going to be a mainly dry night tonight as we head towards Sunday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Although there could be a few isolated showers that do pop up Sunday afternoon along a cold front. Best chance for that is going to be south of the Toledo Metro, closer to the U.S. Route 30 corridor. Areas of flooding going to be the biggest risk. The severe weather threat has diminished greatly. Heavy rainfall is the biggest risk. Gusty winds still possible, but generally going to be well below severe limits, and not expecting tornadoes with this evening's storm threat. Tomorrow is going to be partly sunny. Scattered showers will be possible, mainly during the afternoon, but mostly cloudy skies early with some sunshine late. Temperatures expected to top out in the lower 80s. A muggy start to the day, turning a little bit less humid late, and then Monday a very comfortable feel. Low 60s out the door in the morning. Next 4 days do bring back some very comfortable and less muggy weather Monday. Tuesday looks pleasant as well, but the summer heat returns Wednesday, and we have a late July heat wave on deck. 90s arriving midweek with a heat index near 100. With the heat and humidity will come some summertime storms Thursday through next weekend. Michael?
All right, thanks, John. Meanwhile, down in Texas, recovery efforts are continuing after a devastating flood that struck Kerr County 2 weeks ago. Volunteers from disaster relief programs are working together to help clean up.
This home has stood on the banks of Sandy Creek for almost 50 years. It's weathered other storms and floods, but nothing like the raging waters that tore the house apart 2 weeks ago.
She didn't call the police or anything, and she said my house is shaking and it's roaring downstairs.
John Lewis was on the phone with his mother and first responders as Sandy Creek smashed windows and tore out walls. The floodwater forced his mom up the stairs, where she prayed to be rescued.
They got her out by boat with 6 feet of water on the first floor behind us.
John says what matters most is that his elderly mom is safe. But it's painful to watch a lifetime of treasures become trash.
This house here didn't have insurance, so it pretty much almost saying goodbye to it as I go through it.
Volunteers like John Bridgers with Cajun Navy 2016 also struggle emotionally as they clear out the worst of the damage.
It's really depressing grabbing all these antiques that we're having to throw out. They're not salvageable.
Even more heartbreaking was laying 8 of the family's dogs to rest.
And we were able to dig them a grave site over there and give them the burial that they needed.
Families are depending on volunteers from disaster relief organizations in Texas and Louisiana to get rid of piles of debris that are up to 10 feet high. The Lewis family lives at the end of the street that runs parallel to the creek. Their property has become a junkyard.
We had like 9 other cars here from up the street and 3 mobile homes from up the street. They're over here. And
volunteers say sweaty work isn't all they're providing. They want everyone in the Sandy Creek area to know they haven't been forgotten and they're not alone.
We're just trying to get things cleaned up and, so hopefully the people that want to stay here and rebuild, they'll have a clean slate to start over again.
Unfortunately, it's all too common of a sight down there.
Yeah, really tragic to see all the loss of property. I think after devastation like that, you find gratitude that your loved ones are still there. The material items, you can always rebuild. You can always, see the light at the end of the tunnel there. Yeah. But we see flooding here as well. We're seeing some heavy rain and flooding, thankfully not of that magnitude, but disasters locally. We just came up on the anniversary of that Lake Township tornado, and it kind of rallies the community around each other. Rebuilding does take time, but it's good we're continuing to follow up on that tragedy in Texas because, this is something that unfortunately is becoming a little more common, and flooding is becoming a bigger issue nationwide, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And just getting a look at those volunteers, we have volunteers from Ohio down there right now. Ohio's Task Force 1 still trying to look for the people that are still missing. So, of course, keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well. But switching things over to sports, we have Chase Bachman with a look at what's ahead. Chase?
All right, guys. When we return, Perrysburg boys basketball coach Dave Boyce is retiring. We have the details coming up next in sports. Sports brought to you by Jim White Honda. Welcome back. Some surprising high school basketball news dropped this morning. Perrysburg boys basketball coach Dave Boyce announced he is retiring effective immediately. Boyce is one of the longest tenured coaches in Northwest Ohio. He'd been the head coach at Perrysburg for 25 years. Boyce released a statement earlier today where he said health and family were the reasons for his decision to retire. In 25 seasons with the Yellow Jackets, Boyce won 12 Northern Lakes League titles, won more than 400 games, and had a winning percentage north of 70%. This past season, the Yellow Jackets went 17-6, were co-champs of the NLL, and Boyce was named Division I District Coach of the Year. Keeping it with Perrysburg, some great news for wrestler Gray Burnett. Burnett earned a spot on Team USA's U17 roster, and he will represent America in the World Championships in Greece later this month. This is the same event and same weight class that Marcus Blaze qualified for in 2023, and that's when Blaze went to Istanbul and won gold. Burnett will be a junior in the fall. He's already won 2 state championships as a freshman and sophomore. We talked with him earlier this week. He's excited to be representing America and have Perrysburg supporting him.
It's super cool, and yeah, just to be, a part of a lineage like this at, obviously Perrysburg, we've had awesome success in, folk style and during just a normal season, and then to see it translate over to freestyle and, on the world level, it's super exciting stuff, and, I bet I'm not going to be the last one, make a team.
And shifting to baseball, the Mud Hens are back in the swing of things after the All-Star break. The team went into a break on a 4-game win streak and have won 8 of the last 10. That's good enough to put them in second place in the division. For first-year manager Gabe Alvarez, he's ready to get back to work and finish this season strong.
It was a much-needed break, but it feels really good to be back home. We haven't been here in a couple weeks, and it feels like it. But it'll be good to play in front of the home folks and get things started again.
Meanwhile, over at Valleywood Golf Club in Swanton, the family of Jackson Weiss continued to honor his life and memory through the sport of golf. The Weiss family held their 4th annual golf outing to raise money for youth programs. Weiss was a 9-year-old who died in a car crash back in 2020. Weiss was a huge hockey player and fan, so the outing was a mixture of golf and hockey. Weiss's parents say they want Jackson's legacy to be a positively impact on others.
I mean, we couldn't have gotten through it without that kind of support. The community support's been tremendous. You know, it's just a situation where we just felt it'd be easier to give back in his honor for something that he would want to do. It's helped us. It's stressful and it's active and it's difficult at times, but it does give a purpose.
And shifting gears to high school football, we're just a few weeks away from the start of the season. Last Friday night, Tyler Segerman got 4 coaches together to talk about the sport and the upcoming season. Here's a short segment of their hour-long conversation.
I always tell the refs for the game, like, hey, what trick plays or formations do you have? And I said, I don't think I have any. I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm not really a trick play guy.
Okay.
If we have one in there for fun, we'll run it in practice.
All right.
Yeah.
Casey, what about you?
We probably carry 4 or 5 by the end of the season, and I can't even tell you the last time we ran one.
Okay. Do you come up with them yourself, or is it the coaches? Or
Coaches, Twitter.
Okay.
I've got a bunch saved on Twitter. But
we just share bookmarks.
Yeah.
I think we all have that bookmark.
But we don't run very many.
Okay. And Evan, do you come up with money? Or?
Usually if we are going into a game that we think is a big game and we might need something, I've always been this way. You'd hate to be in a game and wish you had one, and you don't have one. So we usually have 3 or 4 throughout the season, and against contrary belief, we used every big game last year. We used our trick plays and they worked. Okay. And our kids get excited for it. That's another thing. We practice it. It's got to look good. So again, it's something that you make that's fun, and sometimes it'll help you out. You know.
Absolutely. And Josh,
I think we had like 3 or 4 that we practiced all year and used them against Highland. Andy probably saw them on film. We used them all against Highland a little too late.
All of them, okay.
But we scored on every single one of them.
Okay.
So it was one of those deals where it's like, why didn't we do this earlier? But we did the old hook and ladder one. We did the,
I saw the flea flicker.
We sent the slot in motion and throw behind, and then he threw the double pass. So, but we repped them all week, every week, and then used them week 12 against Highland when it was too little, too late. But usually we keep 2 or 3 and just rep them all year, and if we need them, we'll pull them out.
I'm always curious. So if it works in a game, obviously they now have film on it. Do you use it again later, or do you have to come up with something new?
Typically we come up with something new, but then I think we all probably should remind ourselves sometimes that it's high school football, and like if something works, just go back to it.
Well, please tell me, for you guys, if we run it against our scout team, it never works. So then I'm like, scrap it. But I always think I have to practice it on air, because you're like, what's going to happen? Is this kid's going to chase it across the field? You run against your scout team and the kid doesn't go, and you're like, it's not going to work.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. When we run against our scout team, our kid, that's bigger almost in the game. I think they're more confident in the game than against scout team, because they know I'm what. The moment it doesn't look all right, I'm gonna scratch it.
If we run it once against our scout team, the next day they're calling it out as you're explaining it. Oh, they're going to run that trick play.
So we run it on air.
Yeah.
Then I can convince everybody and myself it's going to work.
And so I call the offense for us, and I'm like, if it doesn't work, I'm just like, everybody calm down, it'll be fine. Like, we just keep repping it.
You can check out the full conversation right now on the WTOL 11 Plus app and YouTube. And finally, the Mud Hens are back in action tonight hosting Memphis. We'll have more on that game tonight at 11. But until then, that's all for sports.
You can now tour this year's St. Jude Dream Home, the home that could be yours if you reserve your ticket today. The home is in the Coventry Point subdivision in Perrysburg, and it's valued at $650,000, and it features 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. Open houses are Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. every weekend through August 3rd. Now, when you visit, you can register to win a $10,000 gift card courtesy of Tops Roofing. But to win the house, you need to reserve a ticket, so just call the number on your screen or scan the QR code to do so. When you reserve your ticket, 100% of that money goes directly to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, providing life-saving care at no cost to the patients. Remember, tickets are limited, so act fast. And finally, check this out. Yesterday, mascots from the Philadelphia Phillies hilariously recreated the viral kiss cam moment involving astronomer CEO Andy Byron at a home game. As Coldplay music played, the mascots ducked and covered their faces on the big screen, mimicking Byron and his chief people officer, Kristen Cabot. The pair had gone viral after trying to dodge cameras at a Coldplay concert. Fans joined in on the joke too. One held up a sign saying, "This is my wife," as he kissed his partner, something that wasn't concerned with the other two. The crowd erupted with laughter, embracing the stadium-wide moment of playful fun.
I think it's just insane that 4 days ago we didn't know who Andy Byron was, and now we all know who Andy Byron is. Like, isn't that just insane to you? Like someone's private moment like that wasn't private, wasn't good, but it's just insane how popular it's gotten.
That's how social media gets.
I know.
People go from 0 to 100 so fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. The Phillies recreated it. What is their mascot, by the way?
It's Blooper. So, you know, if you see like a green. Yeah, Blooper. You know, everyone knows. You run across a blooper in nature all the time.
Yeah. I run it in sports. Sports bloopers, you know.
Yeah.
This whole show is a blooper. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, we'll be back at 11 o'clock tonight with more news, weather, and sports. But until then, have a good afternoon and evening. Take care.